It is the 12th day of January 2014. We're about halfway into the Blackfoot moon Gatto, and this is the fourth winter moon. So we are by the Blackfoot count, given that we're about at the full moon right now, we're about halfway through the winter. The Blackfoot count, there's 7 winter moons. So this is about exactly halfway through winter, and already this morning I was starting to think about the things that are coming up. You know, that it's time to start prepping for the opening ceremonies of the beaver bundle. That won't be too long before I start getting some seedlings going for so that I'll have some plants to put in the garden come May, and even by the next moon, Pitaki, the eagles, the owls are going to start nesting. So won't be long at all now, really, until start seeing the activity around out here picking up. Today I'm just taking a nice hike to see if there's anything new that I can encounter, any, you know, what's going on out here phenologically. I don't have any particular expectations, although I know I'm gonna see geese, probably some eagles, golden eyes along the river. Whoa, it's very slippery today in places because last night kind of refroze. Right now it's, I think it's about 0 degrees. I think it's about exactly 0 Celsius or 30 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're just at the freezing level. We got some snow this morning that went over the refreeze of yesterday night, because yesterday it was just thawing and everything, you know, all the snow that was here got melted, lots of puddling going on, and then last night all those puddling froze to black ice, and then we got this kind of powdery snow over top of it, little light layer of like not even an inch of powdery snow, maybe an inch of powdery snow on top of it. And so it can be very deceiving because the snow looks inviting to walk on, and then you'll hit a puddle underneath the snow and just go all kinds of different ways. I'm not looking forward to taking any falls today, because I actually have a pulled muscle between a couple of my ribs, and for me to take a fall is gonna hurt. Even with brake falling correctly and all that stuff, it's gonna be painful. Even a couple of like slides that I've done, not near falls but could have been, were pretty painful. So I gotta just take it easy today, walk slow. I am carrying some extra weight for both utilitarian purposes and for the exercise. Doing phenology is a great way to keep in pretty good shape if you get a good walkabout a couple of times a week. I'm carrying a camera bag that's probably like about 30 pounds, 40 pounds worth of camera equipment, and then I strapped on 5-pound ankle weights on each of my ankles just to boost the weight a little bit, give me a little more exercise. So that, and I'm wearing some kind of clunky boots, which I don't really like the clunky boots, but when there's so much snow on the ground and stuff, I don't really have a choice. Oh, we got chickadees. Let's see if I just seen them fly into this poplar. See if I can get a bead on them. Go up here a little bit and focus on them, what they're doing. Black-capped chickadees, Sspopiikimi in Blackfoot, and they sure are moving around fast. Searching for foods. I'm curious exactly what they're getting. I've tried to figure it out in other winters. Tried to kind of like follow them around and see if I can figure out what it is that they're eating off of these trees, but I was never successful yet in ascertaining that. Whatever they're eating is very small, and I suspect it's some little insect or something in the bark, but I really don't know. Anyway, first encounter of the day, Sspopiikimi. Wish they were here during the Christmas bird count the other week. Whoa, it just hit one of those puddles. Damn. Okay, I'm gonna set this camera down for a bit. Alright, I just thought I'd stop at this lookout and show you what the Old Man River is looking like today. It's pretty much iced over, even more than it was last visit when it was colder. You can see there is an open water strip on the other side of what I call the Big River Island, which is where these plants are growing that you see in the foreground here. So those are willows growing on basically a sandbar and gravel island, and then you can see the cut bank of the opposite shore. On my side of the island there's a little bit of open water here, just a little bit along that cut bank there, and then over here, if I look south, just along this steep cut bank here on my side, there's a bit of open water. No golden eyes or geese at the moment, or I shouldn't say no geese. There are some geese passing overhead, just a few. But I think all the geese at least, are off at the stubble fields at the moment, which means the eagles are going to be along that way as well. So right now it's pretty quiet here. That should change as it gets closer to evening and the geese come back. But right now I'm just going to continue south, and I'm hoping today to go even beyond the bridge into the next floodplain, but given the conditions and how slippery it is, I don't know if I will or not. Okay, I'm at the South Pond Marsh area. This is the marsh, the wide south pool, and here is the spring of the south pool in its current condition, wide open. This is a lot of open water. You could probably even go down here and catch a pike or two pretty easy. With so much open water, they'll be attracted to here. And I wish I had eyes like a hawk. You could see underwater and maybe see some fish. Maybe I'll just go down there anyway and check it out, see who's been visiting by the footprints and all that, and maybe even see a pike. Yeah, I'll walk down there. Yes, I'm down here. I kind of walked around one edge and then the other, and as far as what the new snow is telling me, nobody has visited the spring since this morning at least, and I'm not seeing any fish either, so that was kind of a dud. But it's always worth a look, I think, to check it out and see. You never know who might be visiting. Obviously You know, I know the deer here and the coyote and the pheasants, and every once in a while a raccoon, and of course porcupine. But you never know, you know, every once in a while somebody else pops up. Like for instance, I've seen short-tailed weasels on the very rarest of occasion. I saw one over by the parking lot one day, and then right over here by the spring found a dead one time. So there are animals living here who I rarely ever see any sign of. And if I was able to see something at the spring because they visited, that would make it worth the climb up and down the hill to check it out. But today, nada. What? This magpie was just over here closer to me in this big tree, and started singing one of the magpie songs, and I think he was trying to call my attention to the fact that there's a porcupine up here. See if I can zoom in on that. Sspopiikimi. There we are. Got the back end, of course. This is a young porcupine, and I'm familiar with this porcupine from a couple of weeks ago. Actually, right now we are at the northwest extreme of what's called the Owlwood, and 2 weeks ago during the Christmas bird count, we were at this corner as well and happened across that young porcupine, and at that time he was down on see if I can even show you the exact place. He was down on this curved little tree here, and now he's up top. So he hasn't moved very far. He's been sticking around the same area, and I'm pretty confident it's the same one because there's not a lot of porcupines at the at Sspopiikimi. There's always a few, but there's not a lot, and for one that's pretty much the same size, chances are it's the same porcupine. It's found if you're finding it in the same place. So, and I'm going to continue here along the edge of the Owlwood because I think pretty quick here we're going to come up. See, this is the Owlwood here. You can hear there's a Sspopiikimi, a black-capped chickadee in the Owlwood somewhere, and he's singing the "Here Sweetie" song, or at least in English. That's the interpretation of it. "Here Sweetie," or the mnemonic that's used by people so that they can remember what bird is singing that song. I'm messing him up. Yeah, we're not far from the owl couple's usual perch, and in fact, I already see one of them through the branches here. There's one of them back there. Back behind those branches, we'll get closer. These are Sspopiikimi, which are the great horned owls, which is the most frequently encountered owl here at Sspopiikimi. Although I have encountered on occasion other owls that are just kind of passing through. But this is a resident couple. They will most likely nest here. Here's the male looking at me here. The male is a little bit smaller. There he is. And his wife should be coming into view. There she is. There she is. There's the missus. They're used to me. They know who I am. You've seen me before. Whoops. Sorry, my cameraman skills are kind of crappy today. And it's usually the case when I stop by here that they're just sitting there doing their thing, so just perching, waiting for night to come, and at night they'll do some hunting, some rodent hunting. Given where they're at, probably eating mostly meadow voles and deer mice, although there could be other things in their diet right now. It's real hard to say without either seeing them eating or gathering the owl pellets and dissecting those, the bones and stuff that they cough up. But in order to do that, you basically gotta go rooting around under their tree, under their perch tree, to find those pellets. And you gotta do it, you gotta get there before the magpies do, because magpies will pick them up and take them off and see if there's anything in those pellets that they can digest, that they can get a little nutrients out of. So, seeing as how I don't want to disturb the owls, and how unlikely it is in this particular spot that I'm going to beat the magpies, especially this season, to the pellets, just let it go. I suspect they're eating voles and deer mice. So, continuing on south, as I'd hoped to do, I'm going to be passing under the high-level bridge, the famous Lethbridge high-level bridge. Pretty quick here, and continue on into the next floodplain over, which is, should be able to see it here in a moment as we come around the bend. I really like living in this area because the city is divided by this huge coulee natural area where you really can't build anything because of the floods and because of erosion. So it's always going to remain a big natural area. And so we're always going to be kind of living in the midst of lots of other creatures and such who inhabit these floodplain areas. There you can see the next forest I'm heading toward. Bridge again. There are rock doves at either end of this bridge, up where it gets close to meeting with the coulee rim. So these rock doves living there underneath the bridge. And so you also get ravens kind of hunting the rock doves at the bridge, and so it's not unusual to see ravens gliding along, but nothing as yet today. So I'm going to turn off the camera and keep walking. Yeah, just wanted to make some quick notes here as I'm about halfway to that other floodplain forest area and by another big river island, and For anybody who saw the recording that I made for the bird count a couple of weeks ago, this whole area here with these little patches of open water, there was a male goldeneye in here, and there was a female goldeneye here along these banks, and neither bird is there today. And as we saw even back at the other opening, the other open water crag, no ducks there either. And so what's going on with the ducks? I will venture a speculation about why there's no ducks here right now. It's something that I wouldn't know how to go about even testing or proving or anything like that, but it's just a possibility. And what I think is that the eagle presence over the last few weeks has become so intense. You know, on the bird count day, for instance, I counted 11 eagles. Haven't seen any today, but then there's no ducks or geese here, so there's no reason for the eagles to be either. I counted 11 2 weeks ago here along the same route, and another fella at Pavan Park, which is south of here, or downstream a little ways. Or north of here, sorry, but downstream a little ways. At Pavan Park, I think he counted 15, which is a pretty good number as well. So that's a lot of eagles. And if you're gonna have a lot of eagles around, and they are absolutely eating waterfowl. My friend John Nightingale the other day went out to look at the harlequin duck that's at the Alexander Wilderness Park, which is also downstream and north of here. He saw eagle flying with what appeared to be a Canada goose in its talons. So they are eating the waterfowl, and certainly I've seen them do so out here. In that kind of context where you got so many eagles hunting for ducks and geese, if I was a duck, I would stick around with as many other ducks as possible. And so I wouldn't doubt if the reason I'm not seeing any ducks here today is because they're all down at the Alexander Wilderness Park area, where there's a bit more open water, and at least last weekend or so, a lot more waterfowl hanging out there. So that's where I would be if I was a duck, and that's my hypothesis, is they're sticking with the groups because the eagle danger is just far too high at this time. Alright, I've been through most of this other forest at this point. I'm almost to Whoop Up Drive, you can see here. So I'm almost done with this floodplain. I haven't really seen anything over here, but came across something just now that's kind of funny. These tracks here, this is a ringneck pheasant track, and what I thought was neat is that he's using this log as a kind of a path through the brush here. So he goes up so far here, and then jumps off of the log, and then he gets back on again over here at a second log. Continues to move along here, jumps off again, and goes onto this main trail. And he's following the main trail for a little bit anyway. Yeah, this is all pheasant. Right here he comes across the track of a vole, meadow vole. He passes, continues on. Oh, then over here starts really getting into the grass a bit more. Over here. And then I kind of lose him. And there's another log in there, but I don't see any prints. So anyway, I always think it's funny when the, I mean, it makes total sense. I think it's funny when they use the logs as paths. I've seen coyotes do that too. You know, it's a natural path through the underbrush if you can find a nice log. So it makes total sense. Yeah, I've relocated the tracks and all, but I'm not gonna follow them. But I just wanted to show how nice these ones are. These are just like perfect tracks. You can see really every scale in these toes. And those dinosaur feet they got. Just awesome. Ringneck pheasant, big game bird from Asia, introduced here, and now it's got to be the most prevalent of all the chicken-like birds that are out here. We have a sharp-tailed grouse, but not in these coulees around Lethbridge. And some of the remaining few little patches of grassland, you'll find the sharp-tailed grouse. And then we have the Hungarian or gray partridge, and those are pretty numerous, and we do have those here in the coulees, although they're usually not down on the bottom in the floodplain area where I am today. They're usually up on the slopes in the coulee draws, so that's why I'm not seeing them on my hike here, but they are definitely around. Yeah, I'm on my way back now, but I just want to show you the trail that I'm on along the edge of this steep coulee slope here. Very, very treacherous today. I had to just kind of inch my way along as I came through the first time, and now coming back the same way. And basically what I was talking about before with the ice, all along this trail is just ice underneath this snow. And of course it's going up and down hills, and if you go off the side, slip off the side, and if you slip the right way, you're going to have quite a tumble down to the river. So, you know, got to just be very, very careful inching my way along here. The boots that I'm wearing, they're nice and weatherproof and good, ankle support and all that. But the trade-off for all that good stuff is that you don't have nearly as much control as you would, say, if you were wearing a shoe that mimics barefoot flexibility of the foot, for instance. So my foot is, it's like walking in casts, and really it's not good for the foot. If they didn't have snow on the ground and stuff like this, I wouldn't bother with the boots. Since I am, it makes it even more dangerous for me in some ways. What's lucky is that I try to keep at least one foot right along the edge of these clumps of wheatgrass here, and see, that's pretty slippery. The other foot really I should have on the other side of the trail or walk it next to this wheatgrass. I actually have really good balance and pretty good coordination, but this is very treacherous to me. I sure wouldn't want to be somebody who's naturally kind of klutzy coming along through here, because it's just dangerous as all heck. So yeah, if I kind of keep to the edges where there's some plants growing and rooted, at least if I slip out, I slip, you know, onto the tufts of plants, and that way hopefully catch myself from going down the hill. But yeah, I just want to show you a really treacherous hiking today. Yeah, I thought for the way back I would walk this west length of the pond and see what's going on here, and really there's not much going on that I'm noticing, at least. It's been probably the most quiet visit I've had to the pond as yet this winter. Looking at the snow of the pond itself. Oh, here we have some geese that are passing overhead. I don't know if I can catch them. There we are. There's even a few geese passing overhead is something to behold when there's nothing going on out here, when it's so quiet. But yeah, even looking at the snow on the pond itself, it's clear like no coyotes have been out here hunting the wet meadows this morning, which I find that a little bit odd. But you know, usually when it's a day like this, when it's so quiet here, what you know, I suspect is that the action is elsewhere, basically. There's another place on the river somewhere where the ducks and geese have gone, and wherever the ducks and geese have gone, that's where the action has gone to. So because they are really the predominant food source, or a source of interest even, including the magpies and scavengers and such, they're really the big source of interest right now. Wow, that's a long train. It's still going. Still going. Look at all that. Look at all that oil. Wow. Alberta is known for its oil. Old dinosaur decomposition. But yeah, so what's going on out here today phenologically? Not a whole lot. It's very quiet. The birds have gone elsewhere, and no doubt the coyotes are following them. The deer, wherever they are, bedded down. There's a few ringneck pheasants marching around in the thick brush. Owls are just roosting. The chickadees are of course on the hunt for food, for whatever the little food is that they eat. And yeah, just a quiet day out here. So my suspicion is the action has just shifted to another area of the river, and it'll come back this way when it comes back this way. Not seeing any real big changes in animal behavior or anything, nothing unexpected, and nothing to signal that there's any major phenological change in the season going on, except that the ducks are making sure to stick closer to the large flocks and I suspect that is because of the presence of so many eagles here right now. So yeah, that's it for today for Sspopiikimi. And oh yeah, I just looking at 3 more geese. No, another 5 more geese coming in. And you can see the moon. I'll show you the moon, what she's looking like right now. Not quite full, but getting there. This is the moon, Gatto in Blackfoot.